Welcome to the Asian Leadership Series. My name is Karen from the Department of Management, and I'm your MC for this evening. Some of you may wonder how this talk came about. Actually, it is through a conversation between Yahoo, the case manager, and myself about how much we want to find a young, successful Asian business leader, and someone whom all our undergraduate students can relate to. And Yahoo said, well, Karen, have you heard of or heard about the founder of the Post-Production Office Limited, Nicholas Tse? And I said, perfect. So with the tremendous support from the Post-Production Office Limited, here we are delivering to you our first Asian Leadership Series. So thank you very much for coming. So, since this talk is especially for you students, the whole event is going to be hosted by students. So the format is this. The first 20 minutes or so, Mr. Nicholas Tse is going to share some of his experience and insights with us. And that will be followed by about 45 minutes chatting session between the 3 student interviewers and Mr. Nicholas Tse. And then we'll be rounded up by a 15 minutes Q&A session. So may I now invite the 3 student interviewers, Jocelyn, Mandy, and Nathan, to the floor, please. So before we officially kick off the event, just a friendly reminder of some simple house rules. So can you please switch your mobile phone to silent mode? And secondly, no laptop, computer, no live recording. And third, I understand everyone is very excited, but please remain seated during the event. And last but not least, if you want to leave the lecture theater during the event, can you please use the concourse door at the back? So without further ado, may I invite Professor Roger King, Director of the Center for the Business Case Studies, and he himself a highly successful business leader, to kick off the event.
Thank you all. It's really a great honor and privilege for HKUST to have Mr. Nicholas Tse here. First of all, I would like to also thank our president, Tony, to be here, and our dean, Dean Leonard Chan. And of course, many other honored guests, but most importantly, you students. I think this is probably one of the biggest events we ever had. Just to let you know, Nicholas, when the registry opened, and within hours, it was totally full. In fact, this room only holds 400 people. Within a day and a half, we had 1,700 people signed up. And clearly didn't come to see Tony. Nor me. But anyway, I was asked to say a few words about our case center, okay? And many of you may or may not be aware of it. We have a case center here in HKUST's Business School, which is relatively new, okay? And let me just tell you why we actually started this thing. It was actually at the encouragement of our dean. And basically, most of you probably are aware of the notion of case study itself. For those of you who may not understand or have had the chance, case study actually brings in real live business situations into the classroom by writing cases on that company usually, but we also back it up with theory and allow students to actually analyze the situation itself. So, but having said that, there are a lot of other schools, particularly Harvard, Ivy, and Dartmouth, and many other schools that do write cases. So why should we be writing cases? Well, one of my colleagues, Professor Peng here, and what we did was, before I said to Leonard, yes, we will do this, because he asked me to do it, on a pro bono basis, I might say. So I said, well, before we actually do this, let's take a survey and understand what are we currently doing in our school and who uses case method. And so what we did was we actually took a survey of all the faculty members that are teaching the MBA program itself, okay? And what we discovered was, well, first of all, at the encouragement of the dean, we actually had 2/3 of the faculty responded to the survey, over 66 of them. And what was discovered was that students actually like classes that have cases in it, number one. They gave higher scores for classes that have that. So for those of you who are teaching, this is great news. The second thing is they actually like the professor that's teaching it. And the third thing was, how come we always study Western company cases? Why don't we have more Asian cases? And therefore, our main focus is now on Asian. In fact, my colleagues and I, Jerome there as well, have now coined the concept, Asian cases by Asians for Asians. Now, it's not to say that someone from Harvard, if they ask for a case, we won't give it to them. But I will hope that in a few years, they would actually come to us and ask for cases. Why? Because a Harvard professor, their thinking process is very, very Western. They don't really understand how businesses are conducted in this part of the world. And hence, that's our primary goal here. And we're also very, very lucky that many of our faculty now have been supporting the concept itself. And in fact, even though the tenure system in the school doesn't necessarily recognize those that are involved in writing cases or even teaching cases, but we're moving along that line. So this is the purpose of that. And in fact, many of our cases, we are able to invite honored guests to come, but more importantly, in the classroom sometimes. And I recall one of my cases, the individual that came to the class, this is the person that's actually in the case itself. He said to me, Roger, you know what? This is great. I'm getting so many good suggestions from students. In fact, it's the cheapest consulting service I ever had. So, you know, the whole idea is you need to participate for you students in this room. And it's great opportunity to analyze real life situations. So I'm sure, again, you're not here because you want to listen to me. So it gives me great pleasure. And Nicholas really needs no introduction, but here today he's coming as an entrepreneur, a business he's founded several years back when he was only, guess how old? 22. That was only yesterday, right? And he has a very successful business now. You have an office here in Hong Kong, of course, as well as in Shanghai, I understand. Right. So without further ado, I would like to invite Nicholas to come up. That was all for me, right?
Hello. Thank you for the warm welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you for having me on campus. This is truly overwhelming, really. I am instructed to deliver this speech in English, so therefore I will be speaking in English. But if any of you feel more comfortable speaking in Cantonese or in Mandarin, please feel free to do so. I do hope that at the end of this session, both parties, you and I, will gain something out of it and leave behind a somewhat kick-ass memory. All right? Wow, this is really intense right now for me. Really, because maybe it's because it's the first time I'm showing up as an entrepreneur in front of a crowd. What is really odd is that I have been doing this most of my life. I have been giving speeches and performances and talks around the world to crowds ranging from 30 people to 130,000 people, but never have I been so uptight and nerve-wracking because maybe it's because I am simply put in front of a crowd of academics, and I feel that I am actually out of my league. I do feel that I am talking to another caliber. I'm left out. So the first point is really to tell you, I dropped out of school in grade 10. And I urge you really to go through your education. Most of you, I think, have gone halfway, really. You might as well go all the way and grab that damn piece of paper. If I had the chance to take all the wealth, so-called fame and glory that I have now, and buy back 15 years of life, but keep the knowledge that I have now, and relive the physique I had 15 years ago, and trade places with you right now, oh, I would make that trade in a heartbeat. Really, seriously. I dropped out of school when I was maybe in grade 10, and ever since I set foot into the so-called business world, there has not been a day that has gone by without me hating myself and regretting that I did not fully commit to my education. May it be fine arts, agriculture, architecture, ceramics, who knows, I don't know. MBA, but I dropped. And every day that has gone by, I do regret. Some of you may not feel it right now, but that diploma, when you're trying to close a deal with someone, it means just that much more. When you're trying to convince someone to an idea, a concept, something new, that piece of paper will just mean that much more, and people will judge you, and they will doubt you that much less. That is reality, and it has been hard for me, but so I think I am here to hopefully convince you to go through the education, go all the way, grab that piece of paper before you leave, okay? Do not walk into the obstacles that I have been walking through. So, and for the people who do not know, I have been running a so-called post-production business for the past 9 years, and that's what I do apart from the acting or the singing part, the entertainment part. There is also the business part of Nicholas Sig. We are based in Hong Kong right now. We have a sub-branch in Shanghai. It's doing very well. And we are going to open in Beijing in the end, hopefully, the end of May. Can I say that, please? Yeah. Because we are in a rush, and everything is really planned right now, so I'm looking at my colleague, whether he can pull it off at the end of May. When I say post-production, it's actually, to a lot of people, it's a very foreign term. So what is post-production? Post-production is, I mean, by audio dubbing, online editing, offline editing, compositing, animation, computer graphics, all that good stuff. Actually, everything you see right now on television, advertisement-wise, or in the cinema, or even in the internet, every visual image you see right now is actually, it should have undergone the process of post-production in order to achieve a certain standard of broadcast quality. And just by saying that, I'm very happy to say that it's already a very obvious high demand, or else I would not be here today. And so, for a more visual explanation of what I do, I would like to show the company reel. And these are some of the brands that we do represent in Hong Kong or in all mainland China right now. Some of you may recognize or may not recognize it. It's okay. that's some of the brands that we represent at the moment. But what you have just seen is the pretty side of the production. I would actually like to show you some of the before and after as to actually how we make a living. So what I'm about to show you is something called the Canon G12 model. It's an advertisement shot 2 years ago by a very famous crew. But okay, why don't I show you? Here you will see in front of a green screen just it's merely a model holding onto a camera, and all it is, sorry, it's actually just a track back shot of this model. Yeah, it's not quite up to the entertaining part. This is the source that we got when we first accepted this project. We have taken the initiative to talk to the producer and the director and say, hey, why don't we do something more interesting and something that is to the next level, graphic-wise. And so, can we please show the next layer? So with audio and visual enhancement, each layer by layer, you can see that inch by inch, this is what we do to enhance the visual effect for the outcome. After 1,160 somewhat layers and modeling put onto this image, you get the finished product.
PowerShot G12. Canon.
Was that? All right, there's one more full version of the finished version.
PowerShot G12. Canon.
All right, there you have it, and that's what we do for a living. And for the people who do not know post-production, that's what we do. And so any questions so far? Why don't I ask a question? Who in here wants to be successful? Raise your hand if you want to succeed, because I sure as hell do. What's preventing you from raising your hand? All right, anyway, second question, and the more important one. Who's lying? Because I'm pretty sure if you go out there and you ask people who wants to be successful, 99% of the people will tell you, I want to succeed. I want to be the best basketball player. I want to be the best hockey player. I want to be the best artist, engineer, whatever. They will talk. But most of you want to succeed. But are you truly being honest to yourself? Whereas you found your passion, you know your strengths and weaknesses, where to place yourself in the market, how you want people to see you, and how to project yourself in the market. I founded this company because at the age of 22 and 3, between that time, I was on set, on a movie set. And I saw the director go up to the CG, the computer graphics head department, and ask them, and could we actually do, I want to do this to the image. Could we add a computer graphic animation to this? And he hesitated. He froze. And I thought, wow. So that stalled for maybe an hour or so. But ticking, tick, 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 all that is money. And he called back to his headquarters and asked for the allowance to say, like, they want to do this and that. So can we please, after days of freezing, multi-million dollars was lost in that process. And at the time, I was releasing a lot of music videos. I was doing a lot of concerts and advertisements and movies. I wanted to enhance visual effects myself. And I thought, wow, this should be our realm. That's our profession. Why are we doing so poor in it? So then, if some of you may have read through interviews that I did sell my property, I leased it for a certain amount of money to invest in this business. I started off with 4 to 6 people, and I bought 1 or 2 second-hand machines to start it off. And luckily, I am here today. But one message I do want to get through is, it seems like Nicholas gambled everything away for a good future. I didn't. It is a gamble, but before I bought those secondhand machines, I actually calculated and I talked to a few producers, and we signed contracts for 3 movies, 2 advertisements, and 3 music videos that would cover my 1.5 years overhead ahead of time. So if I was to fail, I somewhat had a safety net that I won't just kill myself because I sold my house, I sold everything. What do I have left? So I did have a bit of safety net. I don't want to get the wrong message out to the public that, well, you just sold everything. So we can do that too. Please do not. All right. So when I was saying, be honest to yourself, and who wants to be successful? Because some of us say we want to be successful, but we don't want to succeed more than we want to sleep. We don't want to succeed more than we want to look cool and go to the karaoke session tonight. We don't want to succeed more than hanging out with friends and going to the cinema. You must be honest to yourself to find the ultimate passion. So therefore, are you willing to sacrifice all these temptations to prevent you from practicing your art? I don't believe the saying of practice makes perfect. To me, there is no perfection. There should always be room for improvement. Practice, to me, practice makes permanence. You will only have a much higher probability not to mess things up. But there is no perfection. That to me. So. Any questions so far? I'm going to keep my butt so far.
Well,
these 3 guys are actually very intimidating right now. Because it feels like that at any moment they're going to chuck some intellectual questions at me like ninja stars. Boom.
You've basically answered about half of our questions already, so.
Because the angle you're sitting, like,
No, really thanks for your brief introduction, and a warm welcome to today's Asian Leadership Series again. So just before our conversation begin, would you prefer us to call you Nick or Nicholas? Okay. So Nick, as we know that you have established a very successful company, and we know we have saw a sample work from Canon, and we want to know that what is your greatest challenge when starting up your company?
The greatest challenge really is to earn the trust of clients at the age of 23, because it is a human natural instinct not to believe in someone 10 or 20 years younger than you. And to establish that trust is reputation. But that together, it takes time. And we started off with really miniature size work. And earned the trust of some directors and said, are you guys ready to go to the next level? I of course, would say yes. But then what I've learned is saying yes doesn't mean anything because no one wants to take the fall. And it is a cruel world out there. People will start blaming stuff to, and say, well, Nick screwed that up, it's not me. So what I've done and changed through these years is I don't say yes anymore. I go back and I ask my team, do you think we can do this? And if so, why don't we do a 30-second demo to shut their mouth, period. So the hardest challenge is really to, I think for any business, is to earn the trust. Actually, mentioning that, I myself, ever since I was little, I loved Hong Kong action movies. I still do. I really do, with all my passion. Being honest to myself, I can tell you, I love action movies, and I'm willing to put my life on the line, literally, if it takes, and to protect Hong Kong action. So, 10 years ago, I made myself a little promise. I said, look, if I'm going to be in this business, I want to be an action star, at least participate in one of those Jackie Chan cool movies, or the Jet Li style movies, or the Donnie Yen movies. And I'll show you this, actually. It's more of a present to my son. It's a 2-minute reel for his first birthday of some of my favorite stunts. Please do not try this at home, because what you're about to see for the 2 minutes, I've been training for 12 years. And a lot of luck is involved. That's why I'm saying practice only makes permanence, because the more I do this, the more chance I will die. Jumping off the 41st floor is never wise, but I did that 19 times. Yeah, and that was only 1 or 2 feet away from breaking my neck. Yeah, that's the convention center. It's funny, they say you can put these paddings on, but wherever you hit, it never hits the pad, it hits you. Probably my son will not understand this message for another 20 years. Thank God I'm still here in one piece. But that's how far I'm willing to go for what I love. Of course, I'm not asking you to jump off buildings.
I've actually seen this video about 10 times.
Really?
Yeah, but it still gives me goosebumps every time I watch it. It's very emotionally touching, but shifting the focus towards the students, and you have definitely found your passion, but how would you advise us on finding our own dreams and our own passions?
Like I said, I think be honest to yourself. I don't think anyone can answer that question for you. It's what you feel every day. You have to live it, you have to smell it, you have to feel it, you have to touch it. It's everything around you. Something that never bores you, I guess. Yeah, if you are hesitating for something, give it a second thought. But I'm here mainly through trial and error. And I guess that's part of life. You only start losing things when you start growing. But that's the contradictory philosophical part of life, right? So, like when we're 12, we're so eager to be 18 and say, hey, I'm old enough to stay up. I'm old enough to go clubbing. I'm old enough to click the porn button. But when we do get older, like I am now, we lose the stamina. We start losing a lot of reflexes, speed, power, all that. Then we start treasuring stuff. But what you love the most, ask yourself. I don't think anyone can really tell you that question, that answer.
Well, but like sometimes if we find our own dream, we might not follow it, like we might not listen to our heart because of the social norms or expectations from our parents. So what advice can you give our student on really pursuing on your dream and stick to your mind?
I don't think anyone, unless your dream is something that is so destructive that you're hurting someone else, I don't think anybody would stop you from pursuing your dreams, right? If it's something constructive or something normal, why don't we say, it should be okay if you're not trying to kill someone. And make a statement. That's what I did in my stunts. You know, I didn't just go about talking to the director saying, I want to do action movies, so I want to jump off. I trained. And then I started doing little stunts. I started to train in weapons, my fitness. The whole thing, it has to start from scratch. So you want to prove someone wrong, prove them wrong.
Regarding this as Asian leadership series where we invite you to talk about your passion, your leadership experience, then what do you think is the one key leadership quality that you think is the most important that leads you to success?
One of the most important leadership qualities, I think, is to know yourself and to place the correct people in the correct position. You know, really, after I started this company, a lot of people say, and they ask me right to the point, what the hell do you know about post-production? And to be honest, if you ask me to sit in front of a multi-million-dollar machine and ask me to color grade, will I do as well as my staff? I will not. I will fail. I will crash. But I don't know how many of you follow football, but for example, let's say last night Chelsea and Manchester United played a game. All right? See, we got interaction now. Yay. The manager of Manchester United, Mr. Ferguson, he's not going on the field and doing corner kicks and free kicks or saving the ball. He's placing the correct people in the correct position. If Rooney scored a goal, is it purely Rooney's glory that he scored the goal? Or was it also because Mr. Ferguson placed him in the correct position so he had the chance to be assisted then to score? So I think to place the correct people in the correct position, to do their work, do the jobs, and then to inspire, to dedicate, to motivate, all that together, seeing through your staff, being honest to yourself, your work, and your staff, all that together is I think is really important.
Well, Nicholas, speaking of human resources, speaking of corporate leadership, we have about 350 students sitting here today, and they might just happen to be interested to apply for your company.
Feel free, please.
So, just maybe. But so, for qualities of your employees, what specific qualities of your employees do you look for?
Creative thinking. And because in a business like ours, it's imperative that every job is unique. We cannot duplicate jobs. Actually, I'm not quite happy with my business model because of that. It makes it very tough. Whereas we're not in a job where robots or machines can just keep printing and make money out of that product. Each job is unique. So when I look for people in our staff, I look for creative thinking, motivation, energy that they want to bring into the image, and of course technique, and maybe some inborn sense or talent.
So you have many staff in your company. So how do you encourage a creative thinking in your company?
Actually, we have over 130 staff right now, and after opening Beijing, we might raise that number by a bit. I actually take them on to. I participate in the daily routine of their lives. It might surprise you, but I sometimes I cook for them. I make them desserts, or as some of you might have read on the newspapers, we have just went on a pretty fancy vacation. Do we have that reel here? Okay.
Hello, P.O. 辛苦你们，
Damn, I gained weight.
一齊出去享受我哋嚟緊嘅節目，我哋開大啲開。
Very amazing trip that you're taking. As we can see from the video, we know that you actually have a very good relationship with your employees, your workers. And I'm wondering, what is your company's philosophy regarding work-life balance? Do you often go to like overseas trip with your employees?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I try to participate as much as I can, and trips like these, it's rare to come by these days, and I'm not just throwing a multi-million-dollar trip for them and say, hey, take this, go enjoy yourself. You got to be part of it. You got to live through their eyes, see what they're going through, solve the problem before it actually hits the rock, and before the collision starts, solve the problem, and you will earn the utmost respect. The difference, I think, between a world-class company and a mediocre company, if you are feared, your staff will only work as hard as to not get fired. But if you're respected, not only will you have staff, you'll have a team. Not only will you have a team, you'll have an army. And they will go that extra mile. They will push that extra mile to fight for you, for the company. And that is the difference between a world-class company and just that's not bad.
So you have mentioned earlier that trust is very important in your company. So how do you build trust with your employee among Shanghai, Beijing, and Hong Kong?
We actually take turns. We send some of our senior partners, our senior engineers up to mainland China, and we train new people. Our business is actually very creative and human-based business, whereas we need a lot of people, and that's where the next challenge for me lies, is to find people like you who are young, who have potential to enhance better graphics and have that motivation to say, I can take this up to the next level. I think the whole world is asking for people like you right now. Steven Spielberg in 2011, last year, announced that he's going to dump in $1.5 billion into Shanghai, doing post-production in DreamWorks. And to me, yes, that is scary. That is a big competitor. But I'm happy just to know that there's such a high demand, so therefore supply is also needed. So.
Could you briefly explain to us your vision statement of your company?
I myself, I really hope to give something back to the society in terms of visual-wise. And since I've been in this entertainment business for over 14 years now, I want to give something back to what is being broadcasted, and this might sound too big, but to re-educate the next generation, my kids, to know what is a better quality. Look at Korea, look at Japan. We have always been following the footsteps of their images. I think it's time for us, and that is why we are here today, for Asian leadership, and to tell the Western people that, hey, I can tell you right now that if you want Netflix to do Titanic 3D, I can do it. Just give me that time and give me that preparation. Post-production alone cannot make a piece of blank paper into magic. We need the whole process of pre-production along with us to merge and together. Then I'm pretty sure that we can achieve 3D Titanic. Don't think that we can't do it. We can. But ultimately, I'm looking for education. If there's a kid like me, a random kid like me in Hong Kong that wants to learn about animation or that likes to play video games, I'm sure a lot of you do. You have different angles and visions of things that people don't have. So times that by the number of the population in the whole mainland China. Only if 1% of mainland China people wanted to learn animation or post-production, that would mean 130 million students. How can we not do 3D Titanic? I'll do 8D Titanic.
Briefly talked about your vision. And we've also talked about how you build trust with your employees. How do you ensure this shared vision from different offices, even in Shanghai, in Hong Kong, or in Beijing?
Well, each year I give this annual speech to them. And so far, I'm very, very thankful to say that we have reached each year's goal. We have moved from, our office was in the basement, actually, of a building in Causeway Bay last year, before April the 2nd. And after April the 2nd, we moved to quite a luxurious building right now in Cubis number 1, a 5-story building. And well, what I mean is, each year we're meeting our goals. And then 2 years ago, I announced that we are the first company to cross border with mainland China to have a sub-branch in Shanghai and in Hong Kong. And we have achieved that goal. And within a year, I am very proud to announce that we are going to open in Beijing, which no other company, post company, has done in the history of Hong Kong. So for the staff, I always tell them, I'm not asking you to work for me, I'm asking you to work for yourself. And it is important to make them feel like that they're at home, that they want to go to work. And they see their future. Not am I only getting the salary paid, I am, wow, this guy is actually, he's making every promise come true. And for them, that is so important because they're not, everything is coming true. And they see further. And I think that is very important for everyone.
Working in the creative media industry, I suppose that there could be some diverging opinions amongst your work. Then when you actually face such type of situation, how would you settle those disagreements?
Well, post-production is really a passive, it's sadly to say, it's a passive, very passive business. For the past maybe few hundred years, I think post-production is to do what we are ordered to do by the producers or the directors of people who shoot these commercials. But we have managed somewhat to turn it around, to take the initiative to actually go to the meeting with the directors and say, is this what you're trying to achieve, or what are you trying to achieve? Why don't we go this way? So now we're participating more into the pre-production to ensure that we will get a good quality out of the post-production. That is mainly what we do.
Has there ever been a time when other companies try to steal the employees from you? Since I guess in the creative media industry, then there could be some intense competition in getting the right talents.
Yes, there has been. And I think it was about 5-6 years ago. One of our competitors was willing to pay 5 times the payroll for 20 of my staff to walk away from my company. And to tell you the truth, I mean, 5 times the payroll, I myself would think twice. But out of 20 people, only 1 left. And I don't blame anybody for it. They must have their own reasons. But I'm very proud to say that we kept 19 of them. And I did ask them why. I said, so really, why are you staying? What is it that's making you stay in my company? I'm not paying you any more than other people. And they replied simply that we're happy when we're here. We feel like home. We know how to bring a smile to our work. That actually shocked me quite a bit on how the new generation values their life today. Not only do they wish for a high salary, but they need to be respected, loved, and cared for, and feel that this is our home. There was once when we were moving to the new company, actually, I called on a vacation. I said, all right, guys, stop today. We're not going to work. And they said, so what are we going to do? I said, we're going to go look for our new office together. And they were actually quite shocked. And the army of us just, we were strolling through all these buildings. And they asked, so why are we looking at this? I said, because you're the ones who are sitting here 18 hours per day, not me. I want you to feel that you're at home. I want you to wake up and be motivated and say, hey, I want to go back and fix that. I think I can do better. These little things accumulate to a better crew.
That's really inspiring. So it is inevitable that there are ups and downs in our lives. So how do you stay positive?
Stay positive. I consider myself very lucky, and we all should. All this you have right now is really a privilege. I remind myself that every day. The fact that I'm just alive doing all those crazy stunts, I'm thankful. I just keep reminding myself that every day. As simple as that.
As a final question to wrap up from us three, what is the most important message you want us to take from this Asian Leadership Series?
All this is great, and I don't know how you. I thank you for the warm welcome, but all this diplomacy stuff, right? I'm not asking any of you to to totally embrace this guy's personality or the way he works or the way he does his job. Not to replicate or duplicate, but to find yourself and find or pick up from this guy what is useful to you in your lifestyle and make it compatible and find yourself. So from me, I hope that you can find little bits and pieces and put into your lifestyle and create your own dreams. Because my dream is to make the make-believe believable, and I will keep on doing that for a long, long time.
Although I said that was a final question, I do have another one. You've actually mentioned a lot of qualities. You talked about being charismatic and how you lead your team, how you make them like you. Well, you don't make them like you, they just like you. You talk about bringing them to different places. And so what are some really important leadership qualities that a leader must have?
Well, another one I would say is to set as an example. You know, you can talk all you want. I can talk about stunts all I want. But when you're really put under the spotlight and you don't know your stuff, I don't care how much you talk. You can talk forever. But can you make that jump? If you've been training for it, you can. But that for me is the ultimate test. Whereas in business, I may lose money. I may lose a job or two. But there, if I was not really honest to myself, I would lose a leg, I would lose an arm, I would lose my life. So it's knowing your stuff. Like I said again, practice only makes permanence.
Thank you very much for sharing with us today. Thank you for really encouraging us to pursue our own dreams and our own passions. And although we've asked quite a few questions, I'm sure the audience here has many more questions to ask you, so we will now open questions to the floor. Just as a reminder, today's session is focused on entrepreneurship, leadership. This is important. Keep in mind that today's session is focused on entrepreneurship, leadership, and management, so questions that fall out of these categories will not be entertained. Originally, we have about 20 minutes for a Q&A session, so please keep your questions brief and to the point. If they drag on for too long, I'm sorry, but I'm going to cut you short and I'm going to give the questions to some other student. So please be respectful to the audience. Just another thing, when we hand you the microphone and after you ask the question, please pass it back to the staff members so other people can get a chance. Thank you for your attention, and we will now start taking questions.
Yes, please.
Hi, Nicholas. Very nice to see you here. Actually, we all know you as a very successful actor and singer. Am I right? And instead of being an entrepreneur, so I just want to ask, how did your great fame affect your operation, your business? And is there any negative effects? Because there must be some negative effects. Yeah. Thank you very much.
That is an awesome question. You know, I was going to say about the category that the questions are going to come by. I was going to say, if anyone was going to ask me for an autograph, I'll sign the autograph, you know, if you can ask me a question that I would stutter, because after all, we are in the study of MBA, so why not start negotiating, right? But I like that question. Yes, I did not launch to the public that I have this company, until April 2nd last year. So I've been actually going undercover for 7 years, and it has been really hard. And actually I forgot to mention, it is another challenge for me to be such low key and still participate in the company. And why I kept it a secret was because I just thought, if I really wanted to prove myself as an entrepreneur, first, I do not want to use my fame, the so-called fame, to assist it. And also, I do think that it will actually harm it in a way, because the press is just going to eat me up. he's another the so-called actor who is trying to do a business. But then how successful am I really? I myself want the real answer. And therefore I kept it a secret. And I hope my clients are coming in because of that they know they can rely on PO and rely on me as the CEO, but not as, I'm going to give him a bit of credit because he just participated in my action movie. No, I do not want that. And it has been painful sitting in the office, seeing all these people, all the directors come by and say, I'm here for dubbing. You're here again. I'm still here for dubbing. I've been doing that for 8 years. And then thank whoever's up there that's looking after me, that last year I can present to the public that this is my company.
And they completely bought that you were dubbing for 8 years?
You think I'm acting? It's true though. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Nicholas. My name is Johnny. And I know that you were doing really great at the age of 22 in the entertainment industry. And I want to know what motivated you to establish the post-production at the age of 22. Because you were enjoying quite a lot of fame and money. So yeah, you should have sacrificed quite a lot. So what motivated you to establish the company? Thank you.
Like I mentioned before, that little crisis I saw on the set with the movie thing, with the hesitation, with the post-production, I was quite upset. And ultimately, I do want to give something back to the society and say, I hope in the near future. Well, a lot of times when I was trying to sell a concept or an idea for my own music video back at the time, I was always banned. I was always given the answer saying, you can't do that. Why? It's too expensive and we don't have the technology. You got to go to Hollywood for that. I said, really? Well, Korea just did one that's quite similar and I don't think they went to Hollywood for it. So I was pissed off that we are relying so much on the Western technology, whereas we have, to be honest, even today, we have the exact same machinery that they do. It's just the culture that is different. What's the difference between Brazilian soccer and China soccer? We've got the same balls, right? But it's the culture that they live it, they breathe it. Each kid all they have is a soccer ball and they're playing it every day. Like our badminton. It's the same, but it's a difference in culture, and I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to make a statement.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. C, was there ever a time that you wanted to, you felt yourself drifting away from the business? Like when your company wasn't doing well, and as a startup, I guess it was very tough looking for projects or clients. And how do you take time off your acting work to spend time in your company? And was there ever a time that you felt like giving up or just very tired of this whole thing?
No, I have not. And I do feel tired sometimes, as do my staff. But as much as we love our jobs, we have never thought that, not a second has slipped by my mind that I would give up this business. Because I believe, it's simply as simple as that, I believe, and I see it's a very logical business. China last year became the third most movie productive country in the world, first being Indonesia, or India, second being the States, third is China. We made 716 movies last year. That's almost 2 movies per day. Now, how much post-production is needed if that much of hours of movies are made each day? It's a very logical business. If you know, so much pre-production is made, then there must be space for post-production. And I don't doubt at all. I see a great future in this business.
The lady in the front.
Hi. You have mentioned about the challenges your company had before. How about the great success of your company?
It's doing okay. I really don't dare to say it's anything right now. It's nothing compared to a lot of my idols like DreamWorks or Pixar. But we're getting there, and I do believe that if no one's going to start it off, it might as well be me. So we're trying.
Yeah, the lady in the gray sweater.
Oh, hi, because you have been very successful in different areas. Like you're a very good actor and entrepreneur. So how do you manage your time so well? Like you must be very busy, right?
I have to give this credit to my staff. A lot of times I'm away. I'm not in Hong Kong. I'm not in mainland China. I'm all over the place, and we have established a trust and a kind of a harmony that we are in sync. We know what we want to achieve. So this, I give all the credit to my staff. When I'm not here, although they will make the harsh decisions, and or through the internet, we will communicate, and we are just playing our roles.
Yeah, the guy with the shirt in the back.
Hi, Nicholas. I'm called Nicholas as well, and I hope I will be as successful as you one day. So we know about a lot of your glory, success, and I'm curious about what mistake have you done before for you as a leader, and what have you done to rectify your mistakes as a leader? Thank you.
I like that question. It's hard. I have a tendency to rush, as do all kids should, actually, maybe. Well, when they're 22 and 23, right? We kind of rush into things. And when I first started this business, I did not go all the way to know each and every part or department of how to run the business. Or I had the picture of it, but then it came to the part where I had to buy really expensive machinery. When I was buying the second-hand, like I mentioned before, the second-hand piece of, it was a telecine, it was a color corrector. I bought a broken piece of machine. And that cost us it paid a hefty price. And we had to, the maintenance for that machine cost us a lot. And luckily, we were able to survive that little crisis. But yes, I did make these mistakes. And I failed a lot of clients. I failed a lot of staff to trust me or not, whether or not to trust me anymore. Of course, I was cheated also, but you can never really blame anybody but yourself as a leader. That, yes, I did fail in buying a wrong piece of equipment. Yes, I did, yeah.
Yeah, the lady in red.
Hi, Nico. I'm from Shanghai, and I am wondering where's your office? No. I was wondering, is there any difference between starting a new business in Hong Kong and especially like in mainland China? Yeah.
I don't think we should draw a line between any country, especially that we are as one now. If you hold on to the same principles, may it be Hong Kong or the mainland China or the States or in Africa. I think it should be the same. Yes, and my office is a 红方工业区，所以 It's okay. We might expand in the summer.
Hello. Can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah, hi Nicholas. Do you have any short-term or long-term plan on your company or on your personal life? I remember that you like action movies. Are you still going for that? Do you have any plans in the future to have your own films short?
Sorry, this is irrelevant to entrepreneurship.
That's all right.
It's okay.
Actually, you know, it's kind of related, and although it is kind of it's not a business secret, but a lot of people think, hey, why did you all of a sudden do open a post-production company when you're an actor? Does it sound that ridiculous? Am I jumping from acting to cooking? I am not. Actually, if you think about it deeply, it's quite linked together. If I have enough bargaining power and trust between the director and the producers to say, look, my company can handle this now. What about I participate in your next movie and I do the post? Now, isn't that a win-win situation? So do I have plans? Yes, I do. I do have plans to make new movies. And I hope that I can bargain the deal that I can also handle the post-production part. If we have all seen that, you know, in the last real big success in Hong Kong, we were really lucky to be able to handle the color correction part. Although I wasn't in it. But hey, we got to the Venice Awards. So.
Yeah, the lady in the back.
Hi. So you were 23 when you founded your company. So you were so young. Did you ever feel like you missed out on life? And how do you deal with this regrets? If you call them regrets.
Yeah. I try to think that I lived my life fully. That's why I am going for every, call me greedy, but I'm going for every opportunity again. And why shouldn't you? Right? A lot of people ask me that question. Do I regret anything? Like I said, I would fully commit to my education if I had the chance to buy back 15 years of life, but I don't. I think I have lived my life fully. I have 2 very cute sons, and they're healthy. You know, I'm just grateful. And I hope everybody should think out of the box sometimes. You know, I'm getting a lot of questions, whereas how to pursue your dreams, or is this okay? Are we going too far? Where do you draw the line between reality and business? Well, Leonardo da Vinci, in 1493, I think it was 1493. That sucker drew the air screw. What we know today as a helicopter. I'm pretty sure back at the time, people would call him crazy. What? That thing flies, hovers? Well, whatever. Well, 500 years after, it is a very well-known transportation device. It was 1493. So don't doubt yourselves. You may get a lot of negative inputs or comments. My mom, my family told me, they seriously, in words, you won't make it. You won't be a successful businessman. I got tons of those. And my dad, they're all worried because it's just very seldom for anyone in the entertainment business to actually make it from scratch. I mean, in the business world. But that's me. That's the rebellious side of me. I like proving people wrong.
Sorry, we only have about time for 2 more questions. So the lady in the front right there.
So, hi, Nicholas. I want to ask, you mentioned that you have a competitor in Shanghai, right? So, how you are going to lead your team to defeat your competitor?
Yeah, competitors are everywhere, and I like the thought of friendly competition. Only through that will the clients know who is better. And that makes us to excel, to thrive more for excellence. You know, if anything was monopolized by only one brand name, they won't fight. There's no one to be in the race. You can walk that marathon and still win. If you're the only one walking, right, or running, we just do our job as we should every day, regardless if there is a competitor. If that is Steven Spielberg's DreamWorks coming into Shanghai or not, I'm just doing my job, as should my staff. Yeah.
All right, our last question will go to the guy in the black shirt.
Hi, listeners. My name is Lincoln. As you mentioned that the technique and the skills of production in Hong Kong is not that far from the Western industry. So I want to, the only difference is in terms of culture. So I want to ask, do you have any plans to bring the post-production office to the international market by overcoming this barrier?
Wow. Right now, I have to say, I don't have that ability yet, because I have put all my efforts and investments into first handling our home, China. But I do believe that, you know, what's a movie called? Sometime, right? The Christian Bale came to, he participated in a China-based movie. So if you're asking me about that, I think that's something really far away. But I hope one day, or maybe through IPO, will I get the chance to go overseas and reach that goal. But me alone, I really can only do that much.
Our last question will go to President Tony Chen. Will you do the honors?
Came as a surprise. Now, can I ask something that's not tied to entrepreneurship? I think everybody wants to ask that kind of question. Now, you may,
sorry. I won't entertain this, but I don't know if he's feeling generous.
Yeah. Okay. Some of us sitting here are a little bit older than most of the people here, and some of us grew up with movies, related to your family. So no, but I wasn't going to ask about that. I was going to ask. There must be a lot of family pressure, just not maybe implicit, to live up to the family fame. Maybe founding a new company, finding your own place, making your own name. I just wonder how your view of this, how you live through this. Must be a lot of expectation that a lot of our students also feel. Before you say you have to find your own passion, but a lot of our students also feel the pressure from the family. There's a lot of family expectation. So for you, with the particular family that you have, with the fame and so on, you must feel that 10 times more than our typical students. I want to hear what your view on this.
That's a good question. I really, but I used to hate that shadow that overpowers Nicholas C, because I am the son of whom and whom. But I have learned, maybe because I started working at the age of 15 or 16, and now, did my parents do anything wrong? I have learned to accept and actually be proud of who they are.
I used to really hate that shadow. Seriously. But as you grow and you go through crisis and all that crap, you learn. When you get hit, and life will hit you as hard as he wants to, no one will stand by you as close as your family. And it's through these little problems and crises where I have found a way to release that shadow as being whoever's son, and embrace it and love it and say, yes, I am, so what? We're both, we're both doing okay as a human being. And in this business, in the entertainment business, I am proud now to hold his, my father or my mother's hand and say, we've done our part in this business. So really, I know, because I have kids also. And sometimes I think about it, when I think about it, and I ask myself, wow, I'm under a lot of pressure. I was under the eyes of 6 million people in the population of Hong Kong, watching me grow up as the son of Patrick Xi. Now that I think about it, what's really unfair are my kids, because now that they are under the the lens of 1.3 billion people in China, and my kids are under more pressure than I am. But what I hope they will learn from this is if they can just simply grow as a human being and not let my shadow overpower them too much. Now that's being a man. Now that's being able to live life as you should. And why let anything stand in your way, especially if there's someone who loves you? And that is unconditional love. They expect nothing in return, and I bet you anything, just simply because you're sitting here today, they want the best for you. This is HKUST, man.
All right, that will officially end the Q&A session. Karen, back to you.
Okay, let's give them a round of applause. That was... And I have to say that, Nicholas, this is my second time meeting you because the first time we did a video interview with him. And that will be showing in the forthcoming classes. And that was truly inspirational, even though I've heard it twice. So thank you very much. And to show our appreciation, may I invite Dean Leonard to the stage and for a gift giving ceremony.
Thank you.
And Dean Leonard, please remain on stage. May I now invite President Tony Chan and Professor Roger King and also the 3 student interviewers, please join Nicholas for a photo.
Oh.
I can see there are lots of photos.
I think Karen, Winnie, and Jerome should come up here as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. And most of all, thank you all for coming to the event. Give yourself a round of applause. Now, a couple of announcements. I'm sure that many of you are very interested in joining Post-Production Limited, right? And the senior managers are going to stay behind and entertain questions so that you can explore job opportunities with them. Yes, so we have Amanda and also Dennis, who's the managing director, and also Michael is going to come to join us, who's the director. And so for those who would like to talk to them, please come down later. And in the meantime, I'm afraid that this is the end of our first Asian Leadership Series. And I hope to see you again. Good night. So for those students who would like to talk, can you please come down? It's a free format thing. Anyone wants a job?